Can you even see me? Can you see me? Because I'm doing like a different thing here, and I'm not even sure if it's working, to be honest. I can't see. It says offline, actually. Oh no, it's not offline. We're good. What's up, Akash? Okay. Kia and Crispy Bills. Crispy Bills? What's up, guys? I don't know how many people are going to be on for the stream today. Because I forgot to actually mention it. So we'll see. Alright, so I actually I'm going to bring up the AP Classroom quiz just so I can see who's taken it so far and go over maybe some of the ones that people missed, the most commonly missed ones. Let's see. I swear, AP Classroom is just terrible. Stop taking me to this page. How do I get to my dashboard? There we go. Unit progress, result. Unit 2. Blah, 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 blah. That's FRQ. Unit 1 progress. Unit 2. I don't know. Are people typing in the chat? I only see 3 people. Did I mess up here? Oh, what the heck? There we go. The chat was not working. Sorry, guys. I was like, why is no one typing? I was like, no one's typing, and now I realized that I didn't see all this stuff. Hold on a second. There we go. I got it. Okay, so it's working. Cool. What's up, Eileen? Why is this a weird time for streaming? There's a test quiz tomorrow. We got a quiz in 8s. So, Eileen, I know that there's no test in bio, but I can still answer your question. What's up, Mr. Chang? Hamilton was legit. Hamilton was, I never had seen a musical before. That was the first musical I've seen. Actually, that's not true. I've seen some Monte Vista musicals. Like a couple years ago, I saw Into the Woods. And what else did I see? Urinetown? Oh, that wasn't a musical, that was a play. But I saw some musicals. But yeah, Hamilton was great. I think I might be a musical fan now. It might have actually changed my tastes. So I liked it. I was impressed with the singing, like just the quality of people's voices. I mean, the play itself was really well produced, and the lighting was great. The Orpheum Theater, was it Orpheum? Yeah, the Orpheum Theater in San Francisco was awesome. You got 2 tests tomorrow, Viha? Yeah, sorry about that. Well, mine's just a quiz, technically, so. Ethan, you got the flu. That's a bummer. Don't give it to me, man. I can't get the flu right now. I've got surgery in a week, and I don't want to have to postpone it. So stay home. Seriously. Ari, you saw Hamilton this summer? Yeah, man, that was such a good show. I was just blown away by it. I got the chills a couple times, and the people I went with were telling me that it wasn't even their favorite musical they've seen. So apparently there's Wicked. Wicked is playing in San Jose, so I might go see that soon. All of a sudden, I'm just going to start watching musicals all the time. Just become a musical freak. It's going to be my new thing. Okay, I'm going to try and open up the Unit 2 things. So the main topics. So yeah, the main topics that you're going to be covering are just these are the ones that are on the that are in this document. So I literally been just planning the unit around this thing. So this is called Unit 2, The Living World, Biodiversity. If you go through this document, it shows you basically these topics right here. So first you have like the introduction to biodiversity. This was just the basic stuff we started off with. So we talked about basically the levels of biodiversity. So remember we talked about there's 3 levels. Genetic, there's the lowest level. So with like within one population of a species, you have variation in their genes, which is important because it's for adaptation. So an organism or a species can't really evolve, or is less likely to be able to change with the changing environment and evolve to adapt to a new environment if they don't have high diversity in their genes, like variation, different alleles, different combinations. So that the idea would be if there's a change in the environment, at least some of the individuals would have a beneficial combination of genes so that they could survive and the species could continue on to evolve and adapt. So you have genetic diversity, right? Variation from individual to individual in a population, right? Like all humans, for example, are different in terms of our genetics. Then you have species diversity, which is the one that we think of the most often, like how many different types of species exist in an ecosystem. And remember we kind of talked about the difference between species richness and species evenness. That's down here at the bottom. Right here, species richness refers to the number of different species found in an ecosystem. That one's pretty straightforward. And then we've got habitat diversity, right? Which is the idea that we have different biomes around the Earth that allow for different kinds of species. Right, so that's topic 2.1. And so then it goes into 2.2, ecosystem services, which is what you guys did your presentations on, right? The 4 main categories. Each group got a service from either provisioning, regulating, or cultural, and then they all need supporting services, which are those underlying services for them. And those lead to a lot of human benefits that a lot of people mentioned in our presentations. And anthropogenic activities can disrupt ecosystem services, resulting in economic and ecological consequences, which is also part of our presentations. So if you want some examples of all that stuff, just look in Google Classroom. I posted all of the people's presentations. Viha, there's going to be 23 questions, 23 multiple choice questions on the quiz. Pretty simple. Ari, you saw Wicked too? What's your favorite? Okay, so Ari, are you like a musical guy? Because you've seen two. What's your favorite musical if you had to recommend one? A lot of people also like the one that was that movie with Hugh Jackman. Les Miserables? Les Miserables? What is it? Les Miserables? Something like that. Topic 2.3, island biogeography. This is this was in the PowerPoint. I kind of mentioned this idea that islands are like a unique case where we can study study them in a way that allows us to sort of look at islands that we create as humans. But island biogeography is basically the study of islands for the most part. In here it says stuff like islands have species that have evolved to be specialists versus generalists because of limited resources. I also talked about how the distance from the mainland and the size of the island affects biodiversity on an island. So just keep in mind that the closer the island is to the mainland, the more diverse it is, and the larger it is, the more diverse it is. Topic 2.4, this is going to be also some questions on ecological tolerance. And yes, someone asked, who was that? Isha, does the biodiversity PowerPoint cover all of this? It covers most of it. The reading will help bolster it a little bit, but the PowerPoint pretty much hit on most of this. The only thing the PowerPoint didn't explicitly talk about was topic 2.2, ecosystem services. That's because you guys did full presentations on that. So you should have gotten that information from just listening to the presentations and doing your own research. I think you'll be fine on that one, as long as you're just sort of aware of that idea of ecosystem services, what they're all about, the categories, and how anthropogenic activities can disrupt them. So ecological tolerance is this idea that species have a range of tolerances that they can survive in. And if that range gets too far away from what their tolerance is, they oftentimes have a couple options. The species could go extinct if it's severe enough out of their range of tolerance, right? They might just straight up die because they can't survive. They might be diminished, right? Not die, but be severely diminished in terms of their population size, which could lead to extinction later, like a bottleneck effect kind of thing. Or they could adapt. They might be able to evolve and adapt if the change is slow enough to allow evolution to take place. But if the change is too rapid, if the environment is disrupted too much, or if the range of their conditions changes too quickly, then you might imagine that they might not be able to survive and adapt because it's too fast, because evolution is a very slow process. And it says here, ecological tolerance refers to the range of conditions, and it gives some examples. So for example, temperature, salinity, which is how salty a body of water is, flow rate, that's the flow of the body of water, so like a river versus a pond versus a stream, sunlight, etc. Yes, this is on the College Board website. Derek, what chapters are on the APES test? So look back on School Loop, and you can look at I forget exactly which sections I assigned for reading, but those sections are in the textbook. It's not full chapters. I'll look right now, actually. I'll pop up the calendar. So here's the calendar. So For the Unit 2 quiz, you needed to read Chapter 8, Morax. No. The Unit 1 exam was there. So you needed to read basically Chapter 4, most of Chapter 4, 4.1, 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4.1 through 4.5 plus 5.4. Can you even see that? So 4.1 through 4.5 and then 5.4. Those are the chapters in the textbook that match up with what we talked about in this unit. Arian, yes, there is a practice quiz on AP Classroom. There is indeed. Thanks, yeah. Ari, you're not a musical guy, just sometimes go with my family. Yeah, you heard Les Miserables is good too. Yeah, Hamilton was a very interesting thing. It took sort of a story that people aren't too familiar with. I got chills a couple times. It's Eileen, not urgent, but if you were to shower gray water to your plants, doesn't it have soap and shampoo? Yeah, so if you're going to use gray water, a lot of times people have like a way that removes the soap so that the gray water they use is not so soapy. But it depends on how soapy it is. You can get away with a little bit of soap, but if it's like a really, really soapy, it's probably not the best. But for the most part, it's not too bad to pour on plants if it's a little bit soapy. Mr. Chang, yes, I did see you working at that event. It was a short combo, but we were on our way to that musical. You look good in your uniform out there. That was a hot day, though. Some of those cars, those old classic cars, were pretty nice looking. There's a couple of pickup trucks, old like 1970s pickup trucks. There's this orange one, this old Chevy that was. If I had to pick one car for that day, that would have been my pick. That old school pickup look. I'm a fan. Ari, they're not. They should show up on the. See, we keep having this issue with people not being able to see the results. This is why I don't like the AP Classroom, because it's not intuitive for how to access your results, but you can. That's the thing. You should be able to access your results. There should be a tab that that you can click that shows your results. It's just not it's not intuitive of where it is, where to find it. Unlock progress check. Unit 2. Oh no, that's not what I want. So there's 21 questions. There's 21 questions. Kyle, if you know all the info on the PowerPoint, the presentations, and the reading, the sections from the reading, yeah, you should be good to go. That's pretty much it. Also, you might want to just remind yourself about the lab, the parking lot lab we did, just the biodiversity calculation, like the idea of the lab, like what we did, the idea behind it of calculating and measuring biodiversity. So Maz, you said closing it and reloading helps? Sammy, it said you took it during second and it didn't show up until after school? What the heck? That can't be right. That absolutely can't be right. There's no way it would take hours to show up because it just auto grades it. It shouldn't, there's no reason for it to take that long. I can go over some of the questions anyway, so. I think the AP Classroom website and just the way it works is slow and not great. So I don't know. If it takes that long, there's something wrong on their end. The website itself is slow, like just the pages load slow. I don't know. Hopefully they improve that. Moz, Justin's presentation was really emotional. Yeah, I guess you could say it was emotional. There's a lot of emotion in that one. It was an interesting presentation to say the least, right? But there is emotion there. Sammy, the specialist can generally outcompete the generalist, right? So if a generalist was introduced to an island with a lot of specialists, will the generalists die out or will the specialists die out? Good question. So if you have like an island situation, typically on an island you have more specialists because it's a very small habitat, and there's typically not as much competition, so specialists can evolve. But that's a good question. So if you were introduced, like if you had like some sort of invasive species that's a generalist, a lot of times the generalist will wipe out a specialist on an island ecosystem. There's been examples of it. So just based off historical examples that I've seen, I would say generalists typically will wipe out specialists on an island. Like, I'll give you a couple examples. I know on the Channel Islands off the coast of Southern California, like off the coast of like Ventura County, there was an island where there were deer, which are generalists, were introduced to one of the islands there. And they just sort of ran rampant over the vegetation. But they had no natural predators and all that stuff, and so they kind of ended up having to be taken care of. Like I believe, if I remember correctly, people had to like get rid of them. And then there was also the classic example of Easter Island, which we'll talk about more later, where like rats and mice were brought to an island with the original population of humans that settled there. And the rats and mice, again, having no natural predators, and there's abundance of food, ate all these seeds, and they kind of ran wild. So in that case, I would imagine that those invasive generalists will probably outcompete the specialists. Eileen, we will finish that one up. Okay, so all right, so that was a question on the classroom test. All right, let's go through this real quick. I will pop this up. This seems like a good use of time then right now, is for me to pop up the test itself. And we can go through this. Like, so you can look at the scoring guide here together. So for those people that can't access their, oh, is this a, oh, it has a PDF here. All right, let's go through this PDF. And we'll go over the answers. So this will show the answers as we go through it. So let's start. So number one, team of ecologists are studying 4 different ecosystems with varying levels of biodiversity. The ecologist categorizes the different levels of biodiversity. Okay, so genetic, species, and habitat. Based on the information above, which ecosystem would most likely recover the fastest from a natural disruption? This one's pretty simple. You're just looking for like the average situation here, like which one has the most diversity. And So this one seems like it has no low. There's no low diversity. So it's got medium, high, high. So overall, this is probably the most diverse because it's not low in any category. Based on the information above, which ecosystem most likely experienced a recent population bottleneck? A recent population bottleneck. My guess is going to be ecosystem A because of the low genetic diversity. Yeah. Ecosystem A, because its low genetic diversity, could have resulted from an event that reduced the variation in the gene pool. So whenever you see bottleneck effect, you think genetic diversity, because a bottleneck is for a population, which can only affect genetic level diversity, not species or habitat. Based on the information above, which of the following best describes ecosystem C? Which was C? High, low, low. So it's got a high genetic diversity, low species, and low habitat diversity. So it's like, that's an interesting one. So number 3, the answer is D. Its low habitat diversity indicates that ecosystem C most likely has a low number of specialists and few species that utilize large territories. Makes sense. These other options, its low species diversity indicates that ecosystem C most likely has species with very low population size. No. Yeah. Number 4 was the answer was B. Which of the following is an example of an ecosystem service that would protect from a hurricane storm surge, a lock-in dam, an intact coastal wetland, an energy-producing tidal barrage system, an offshore deep water fish farm? So, a couple things here. Why is B wrong for number 3? Its high genetic diversity indicates that system C most likely has species that evolve quickly. Its high genetic indicates that most likely has species that evolve quickly. There's not a correlation necessarily between genetic diversity and pace of evolution. So actually that's not true, because if you think about evolution, the more variation there is within a species, the more likely it is to evolve. This might be an indicator of, this might be a question of, like, based on the information, which is following best describes ecosystem C. So the idea would be, if you have high genetic diversity, sure, species will evolve quickly. They'll be able to adapt better. But usually when we talk about speed of evolution, it's more about how fast they reproduce and how strong the selection pressure is. It's less about the diversity of genetics, although it does play a small role. I think it's just that D is a better answer here. The fact that it has low habitat diversity means it probably has a low number of specialist species and a few species that specialize in large territories. Yeah, I think that's what it is, Ari. Yeah. Evolve better, but not necessarily faster. Your questions are a different order. Yeah, I can put this out there. I'm just gonna finish going over it real quick. Number 4, the answer B. So this one is pretty straightforward because it's an ecosystem service, so it can't be anything that's man-made. So this is a man-made. A lock dam system is man-made. Tidal barrage, man-made. Offshore deep water fish farm, man-made. The only one that's not man-made is a coastal wetland. So that one you can just go straight from that answer right there. Number 5, which of the following ecosystem services is categorized as regulating? So So this one, wood, fuel, medicine, and potable water, those are all tangible goods, so those would be considered provisioning. Recreation, education, and aesthetics, that's cultural. Photosynthesis, nutrient cycle, soil creation, that's all supporting. So these are regulating because they regulate some of the other things. So for example, like pollination regulates reproduction of plants. Decomposition regulates reintroduction of nutrients to soil and cycling of matter. Water purification regulates the water cycle. So like the water cycle is a supporting service. Water purification is a regulating service. Number 6, which of the following economic consequences to a provisioning ecosystem service will most likely result from increased global warming? Okay, so we're talking about provisioning services. So these are like tangible goods, medicines, materials, food. Which of the following economic consequences? So economic consequence will result from increased global warming. The collapse of local fisheries because of the damage to coral reefs from ocean acidification. I have a little bit of a gripe. Yes, a tiny gripe with this question. So, So global warming does not lead to ocean acidification. Ocean acidification is a result of extra CO2 from the atmosphere diffusing into the water. So sure, but so that's like there's like a nuance there that I'm just picking up on. But I think if we look at the other answers, let's see, loss of revenue of oil industry because of increased oil spills from offshore oil wells. Well, because oil spills are not connected to global warming. They're independent of each other. Widespread crop failure because of increased acid precipitation in agricultural areas. So acid precipitation, again, not connected to global warming. See, this is weird because like you wouldn't, this is tricky because at this point in the year, we haven't even talked about what causes acid rain. And yet they're asking you a question in Unit 2 to understand that acid rain and global warming are not related. That's the one. That's why apes is so hard. Is because everything is so connected that like it's hard to. I don't know. It's just hard to. These kinds of questions require you to learn stuff that we haven't learned yet, theoretically, kind of in a way. Increased costs for water filtration because of loss of coastal wetlands. So again, wait a minute. Because of loss of coastal wetlands. So as global warming happens, you get sea level rise, which could I don't know why D couldn't work here actually, now that I think about it. Why couldn't D be an answer? Loss, because technically if global warming occurs, the earth heats up, water expands, ocean water will expand with increased temperatures, ice caps, land-based ice will melt, sea levels will rise, salt water will inundate into a coastal wetland, flooding it. Now you lose the service. Oh, because it's not a provisioning service. See, I might have got that one wrong. It's not a provisioning. Water filtration is not a provisioning service. It's a a regulating service. Tricky. See, this is why the apes test is the lowest average, because the question's tricky business. But even A, like you could make an argument like, hey, look, global warming does not directly connect to ocean acidification. It's like we burn fossil fuels, CO2 goes into the atmosphere, and then that CO2 causes global warming, yes, But the global warming does not cause ocean acidification. The CO2, the excess CO2 goes into the ocean, and that causes ocean acidification. So if this question was, which of the following economic consequences to a provisioning ecosystem service will most likely result from increased greenhouse gas emissions? Then I go A, yes, for sure. But increased global warming? I don't know. I don't know. In fact, as ocean temperatures increase due to global warming, they can hold less CO2, therefore becoming less acidic. But the temperature of the water does damage coral reefs. So if they also said, because of the damage to coral reefs due to increased water temperatures, then I'll be like, yes, that's correct. All right, whatever, moving on. Number 7. What's up, Patty? How are you? Based on the island of theory about which of the following islands would most likely have the highest number of species living on it. This one's pretty simple because you just got to look for the one that's the closest to the land and the biggest. 30 is the biggest size. 10 is the closest, so therefore that is the answer. Easy peasy for number 7. Number 8. The image shows 2 different islands and the relative distance to the nearest mainland. Okay. Oh, they got Easter Island here. Based on the theory of island biogeography, which of the following best predicts the effect of the introduction of an invasive species on Easter Island compared to Madagascar? Okay. The native species on Easter Island are more likely to survive because the island is further from the mainland. No, not really. The survival rate of a species is not necessarily related to its distance, so that's not really true. The native species on Easter Island are more likely to survive because the island is so small, there will be limited space for invasive species to colonize. No, in fact, that's probably the opposite. The smaller, the less likely. Because remember, we talked about island size increases extinction rate. So as islands get smaller, extinction rate goes up because of the lack of resources. The native species on Madagascar are more likely to survive because the island is larger and provides a greater diversity of habitats and resources. Easy, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. The native species on Madagascar are more likely to survive because the temperature in the Indian Ocean is warmer than that of the Pacific Ocean. Well, that's just false anyway. And that's kind of unrelated. Okay, that makes sense. What's up, Blue? It has been a while. You stopped in a couple weeks ago, though. Out of the blue, so to speak. Hope everything's going well with you. Yeah, the Twitch streams, I kind of, I don't know. My life has sort of changed over the last year or so in the sense that I have less free time to get sort of like time online with that Twitch, with streaming on Twitch. Just my time in general has decreased for that kind of thing. I will always remember those times fondly, though. That was fun. It was a fun little stretch of time. Number 9. Okay, so this is the question that Sammy was asking about. An island off the coast of Africa contains a large percentage of specialists. A larger percentage of specialists than generalists. Which of the following describes the most immediate effect if an invasive generalist species was introduced to the island? Which of the following describes the most immediate effect if an invasive generalist was induced? So they're saying, so as predation increases, the population size of the invasive generalist species will decrease. No, that doesn't make any sense. As predation increases. That doesn't make sense because there's nothing in the question that says anything about predation, first of all. And in fact, if they were a predator, they would have no. So an invasive species would have no natural predator, so there would be no predation. Predation would not increase because they would have no natural predator, so that doesn't make sense. B, as competition for resources increases, the population size of the island special species will decrease. Yeah, that makes sense. So these are generalists, so they're going to be able to sort of take advantage of different resources than the specialists. good to know that I was right on this one. It's gonna be kind of embarrassing if I was like I got it wrong. But here's the thing: I've gotten questions. I took I took the AP test last year. I got a 5 on it, but it wasn't like I didn't like knock it out. I didn't get like a 5 plus. There was a few that I missed. It wasn't. It was not easy. As competition for resource, yeah, okay. There would be no resource partitioning because resource partitioning only occurs. Motorcycles. Resource partitioning only occurs as evolution happens. Evolution. Resource partitioning is when species have evolved over time to have different niches and partition resources appropriately. As niches overlap, the invasive generalist species will be outcompeted. No, that was not true. Okay. 10. Oh my god. What? Excuse me? Are we straight up just deciding that we're going to just start a novel? Oh, identify the author's claim. Oh my god, this one of these kinds of questions. Bruh, I don't want to read this right now. What's up, Swiss Creations? Swiss Creations? Sammy, okay, so generalists will win because they can use resources from all over, but head-to-head for one specific resource. Yeah, so it's kind of like... Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Sammy. Actually, a really good way to put it, right? If they had to compete for one specific resource that the specialist had evolved to become a specialist in, the specialist will win. But because generalists can access many different resources, they get an advantage in that regard. All right, so this question was just a text analysis. And I'm not going to sit here and read it all, I don't think. I just don't really feel like it. What is it? It's just about, so what does it say? Which of the following best identifies the author's claim? Okay, so you're trying to just, yeah, this is like an SAT style question in a way. They're trying to get weird with it recently. Like this year, they're trying to throw in more like non-based. It's not like not technical environmental science questions. They're just sort of more. It's like this is a, what is this? Like it's set up. It's set up in an environmental science context, but really the question is not about the content, right? It's about, can you read and identify a claim from an author? I'm not going to ask you a question like that, but you do. So here's the problem. I mean, they are going to ask these kinds of questions on the AP test. They're going to throw them in there. They're going to give you these text-based questions. So the answer to this one was, just in case you're checking your answers, so this long text one, this was the claim. Anthropogenic disruptions to Earth resources can have sudden and severe negative consequences to the health of native species, specifically those whose populations are already threatened. I'm not asking any on this test. I probably should though, if I'm going to prepare you guys for the actual AP test and they're going to throw these kinds of things on there. Maybe I'll throw in like some practice with that later. Maybe we'll do some maybe I'll pull out some like current event articles and we'll look at them and do some of that. I guess that'd probably be a better way to do it. Yeah, that might have to happen. Oh my gosh, dude, another one. Reef fish inherit tolerance to warming oceans. So another, identify the author's claim. There's a couple in here like that. Observed adjustments in ecological tolerance of species that reach as a result of epigenetic changes. Yeah, again, just sort of identifying a claim based on reading. They're trying to, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to like blend different like subjects together. right? Because this is something you might expect to see on like an English test or something, right? Like identifying the author's claim. But in a way it makes sense, because if you're going to go out there, right, and read scientific articles or popular science articles, not actual peer-reviewed like scientific papers, but popular science articles, like just about science, like about science, like online. I guess it's important that you understand what they're talking about. But that's a skill that you should learn. See, that's a skill that you would learn in an English class. Like, am I supposed to teach that skill as well as the actual like technical details of the sciences? I don't know. Apparently. Like on the actual AP test, Isha, how many would we expect to see? Like if you took the AP test, you're going to see a few of these kinds of questions where they're going to give you a little article, and then they're going to ask you to identify the author's claim. We'll practice this later. I'm going to find some interesting articles about some current events in environmental science, and we'll just do like a quick little maybe thing on it. We'll read something. Actually, I was going to do this with an article about water withdrawal, but we didn't have time. The problem is, like, there's so much material that we have to cover. Then to also take days where we practice this, it just puts us behind. So that was the answer there. Let's go here. Changes in atmospheric CO2 concentration and Arctic temperature over the past 800,000 years. Okay, so this is basically a graph interpretation question. Which of the following best describes the change in Antarctic temperature from about 440,000 years ago to 340? Which of the following best describes the change in Antarctic temperature? So from 440 to 340. So that's like that segment, right? Like there. It looked like it rose and then fell. The temperature increased and then decreased, right? Yeah. So that makes sense. That one's easy. This is just graph interpretation, to be honest. This one should, hopefully we're good with graph interpretations. It's another thing that we probably should practice, but I think hopefully they're not too hard. Which of the following best describes the patterns in, has a pattern in atmospheric CO2 concentration data? The pattern over the past 200,000 years. So if you look back 200,000 years, so you're looking at like decline, incline, decline, massive incline. Country have fluctuated until recently when the country rose exponentially. Yeah, that makes sense. Swiss creations. Swiss creations. Like watches, knives, chocolate milk. So on this test, we got food webs, primary and secondary succession, biodiversity stuff. Anything else, or was food webs last unit? Food webs was last unit. Food webs was last unit. This unit, it's just it's these topics right here. It's in this document, so it's basically all the stuff from the PowerPoint and our presentations that we gave right here. Introduction to biodiversity, ecosystem services, island biogeography, ecological tolerance, natural disruptions to ecosystems, adaptations, and ecological succession. And I went over most of that in the PowerPoint, and then our presentations covered the rest of it. Number 15. It's a fire channel. What's up, Jason? It's a YouTube channel? Or it's his YouTube channel. It's Baya. Which of the following best describes the trends in atmospheric CO2 concentration and Antarctic temperature over the past 800,000 years? So this is like connecting them. Like, what is the connection, basically? Atmospheric CO2 concentration and Antarctic temperature are directly correlated. Yeah, they are correlated. So as one rises, the other rises. So as CO2 goes up, temperature follows. This one's easy. What's up, Patrick? Hey, Catherine. What should we know from the Ecosystem Services presentation? Key things to know from Ecosystem Services. You should know some examples and the differences between the provisioning, regulating, and cultural. Like, kind of be able to differentiate those three. So like provisioning services are things like food, lumber, medicine, materials. It's like tangible materials that we can extract from nature essentially and use for things. Regulating services are processes that nature carries out that are beneficial to humans. So things like decomposition, water and waste treatment, and filtration, that kind of stuff. And then cultural are less tangible things. So things like aesthetics, recreation, spirituality, that kind of stuff. And then the thing that support those three are these supporting services, which are things like the nutrient cycles, the biogeochemical cycles, soil formation, ecological succession, primary production, those kind of things. So you should be able to differentiate those services from each other, and you should understand how they're connected to human well-being, the benefits we receive. And then finally, what are ways in which human activities, anthropogenic activities, damage them? How do we impact those services by things that we do, like deforestation, burning of fossil fuels, and all that stuff? Does that make sense? If you were paying attention to the presentations and you read the text on it, the textbook chapter on ecosystem services, you should be good to go on that. You should really be good to go. All right, we're almost done with this practice test real quick. Researchers in the Galapagos Islands measured the average beak size in a population of finches from 1976 to 1984, as shown on the graph below. Birds with smaller beaks are better suited for grasses and soft seeds, while birds with larger beaks are better suited for seeds and nuts. In the years with less rainfall, there are fewer grasses to feed on. The finches rely more on seeds for food. In 1977, 1980, and 1982, there were droughts, and the area experienced significantly less rainfall than average. Okay. I might play a little Minecraft, Jason. I think I'll pop on for just a little bit just to kind of see. I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to mess around and see what it's like, I guess. It's been a long time since I played it. I just remember playing it and sort of like building stuff. And there's just someone that just wanting to like run their motorcycle all night long outside. Sammy's chapter 4.6 talks about invasive keystone and indicator, which we talked about in class, but wasn't included in chapters. Yeah, that wasn't on the. I didn't assign that on the reading. Okay, that's definitely. I mean, because it was in the PowerPoint. I lectured on it. Let me. That's actually good to know. Thanks, Sammy. I might have missed that. I'll update my lesson plan so that I remember to do that next year. All right. Thank you. I know, seriously, right, Mr. Chang? Like, just runs the motorcycle, it's just like, vroom, vroom. I don't know, I guess he's doing it just to, like, keep things flowing. Keep his pipes clean. Gotta clean my pipes out. Gotta run this bad boy. Just like, vroom. Yep, it still works. It works. Good to know. Okay. Can you, how do you do a global warming simulation? Can you actually run global warming? I was looking at the website on Minecraft and they have biomes. Like they have different biomes on there, which is kind of interesting. I'm actually going to check out their biomes. Do a little exploring. So basically this question shows that there were some droughts, and so like here, here, and here. So you have slightly larger beaks in those situations. What statement is best supported by the data in the graph? Finches with larger beaks were more likely to survive in 1980 because they were able to feed primarily on seeds and nuts during the drought. Yeah. I think reading to me, so here's my bias. Reading graphs is very easy for me. It's a very intuitive way of understanding data, so I feel like it's not hard, but I don't know. Is that what everyone thinks? This is another graph one. Researchers examined the effects of industrialization and increased pollution in London. Oh, this is the classic moth coloration thing. This is such an overused example. Like every freaking textbook uses this example. So basically what you see here is this is an example of adaptation, right? So as industrial revolution takes hold, more soot is deposited on these trees, making them darker, so the moths adapt, and the darker coloration is selected for, and what you see is more darker moths as the time goes by. Right, so the percentage of dark moths increased in the population and the percent of light colored moths decreased. Again, graph one, not too hard. They love their graph questions, man. In the 1970s, the amount of industrial pollution decreased and trees began to return to their pre-industrial appearance. Which of the following graphs best demonstrates the change in the frequencies of the light-colored moths and dark-colored moths in the population from 1950 to 2000? The dark-colored moths are represented with a solid light and light-colored moths are represented with a dashed line. So it's asking which of the following graphs best demonstrates the change in the frequencies of light and dark moths from 1950 to 2000? And they're saying that in the 70s, the industrial pollution decreased. So what we should see is just a reversal of some kind. So this doesn't really make sense because the dark moths should go down. So yeah, C is the best because dark moths will go down, light will come back up. Based on the graph above, which of the following tree species would be the predominant species found during the intermediate stage of succession? Ooh, interesting. Intermediate stage of succession. So intermediate stage. So biomass. Okay, so you got biomass increasing. So this looks like intermediate stage. During the intermediate stage of succession. So this is like a mature climax stage over here. This is the very beginning stage. Be the predominant species during the intermediate. It's got to be the tulip, unless they're saying it's sweet gum. Yeah, it's tulip because I think intermediate stage is from 50 to 100. Yeah, tulip, poplar. Number 20, based on the graph, which of the following years? Dude, God, yeah. Based on the graph above, which of the following years post-disturbance did sweet gum experience the greatest biomass? Such as a graph interpretation? Yeah, straight up 50. 21, based on the graph above, which of the following years post-disturbance had the greatest species richness? So you would just have to look to see in which year whether the most species exist. And they're saying of these, yeah, 100, because at year 100, every species was around. Yeah. Okay. It's Mr. Gann testing out his new bike. That'd be legit if Mr. Gann got a bike. I don't know if Mr. Gann has a motorcycle license. I used to ride my motorcycle to school, to work back when I first started teaching. Kind of stopped though. I sold it. I'm thinking I should get a motorcycle again, but not be as annoying as that guy. What's up, Badant? I know you don't. Nice to see you. Moz, do you think it will be enough if I read the chapters assigned? I mean, you should know that you should review those chapters, but also go back over the PowerPoint that I went over in class, and make sure that you understand the ecosystem services stuff. But I mean, you know. But yeah, so all these are all the topics that you should know. Topic 2.1, Intro to Biodiversity, Ecosystem Services, Island Biogeography. I think you may have access to this document through AP Classroom. So what I'm going to do, I think, if there's any other questions, I can answer them now. I might spend an hour, so I feel like, and I've kind of went over the practice quiz, kind of went over some of the topics here. Natural disruptions to ecosystems, that's another topic, right? Different kinds of disruptions, things like periodic events, which are sort of, there's cyclical events, like ice ages that happen every so often at a regular interval, that can decrease biodiversity and affect species. And then there's periodic events that happen randomly, kind of. I guess you would call it like the term they use is episodic. So which would be like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, hurricanes. These things happen. There's no sort of pattern to them, but they do happen sporadically. And then random would be like really, really random things that might happen with no sort of prediction at all, you know? Oh my God. Okay, we don't need this on here, Vedant, right now. I don't know what's going on with this. This is not a place to talk about like people taking your video games and stuff. I'm not an arbiter over weird. I'm not Judge Judy. Okay, I'm not going to be an arbiter over disputes about stolen property. So you can stop talking about it, or I'll just kick you. Yosh, what's up? How you doing, man? So, okay, natural disruptions. Then we talked a little bit about adaptations, this idea of like we need high genetic diversity. We need high genetic diversity to help us with things like evolution. So species will evolve to change and fit their environment. That's pretty simple, nothing too complex there. And then ecological succession, we talked about primary and secondary succession. And in this section here, 2.7, it's the last one, it also includes this, the keystone species stuff that I mentioned, the indicator species, right? So keystone species being those like really important ones that regulate the population size of other species. So usually they're apex predators or they're pollinators, depending on the ecosystem. And then you have indicator species, which can give us an indication or an early warning sign of damage to an ecosystem, the quality of ecosystem, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so those are the topics. So let's play some Minecraft, huh? Just for a moment here. We'll see how long I last. We'll see how long I last. Just gotta send a quick text. Sorry guys. This is a text I need to get out before it's too late tonight. Yash, can I explain why biodiversity is so important? Yeah, man, it's biodiversity is super critical for a couple of reasons. It's mainly tied to the whole idea of ecosystem services, right? So like all the services, most of the services, right? Like especially, so I think the most important service that's connected directly to biodiversity is the provisioning services, things like medicines, food, lumber, like the material goods that we can get from nature. Most of the material goods, not things like like metals and ores and minerals and those kinds of things, less tied to biodiversity because those are more abiotic things. But a lot of the benefits that we receive from provisions of food and materials come from a variety of different species, especially things like medicines, in which you have a variety of species that have evolved over many, many millions and billions of years to generate these unique compounds that can be used as medicines for humans, right? Or can be used as a food source. So that biodiversity is really important just for human benefit. But it's also important because it's also important from a non-human point of view in the sense that more biodiversity means a higher variety of species, which therefore means your food web is more complex. You have more connections, right, between all the different species that exist, which therefore means it's usually stronger and more resilient. So it can handle change better, right? It won't collapse as easily, and therefore it's just stronger overall. So higher biodiversity just means a more resilient ecosystems and better for humans. I don't know where the best place for this game is to put my face. Put my face over there. What are the options here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I'm assuming that the videos is not, the video settings are not that important considering it's not like a high quality game. Brightness, moody. Okay. Whatever, we're good. Single player. What's up, Shanna? For the apes quiz, multiple choice. C, señorita, it is multiple choice. I don't know how to say multiple choice in Spanish, but it's multiple choice. It's multiple choice. Alright, put brightness to max so you can see in caves. Alright, Ricky. I will do that. So I just create a new world. Game mode, survival, hardcore, creative. Let's just jump in real quick. I'm just gonna jump in. Don't they have multiplayer too? Maybe they can do that eventually at some point. Alright. Go creative. Should I go creative? Maybe creative will allow a little bit better, I won't have to worry about dying so much, huh? The monsters and stuff that come out at night. So I guess the goal, what's the like there's not really a goal, right, in this game. It's just more open-ended. So the idea is you got to get resources. Oh my god, my mouse sensitivity is off the charts right now. Now I'm stuck down here. How do I get out of here? Can I even, do I have to break this thing? And mouse sensitivity is too high. That's better. Get enough resources, fight Ender Dragon. Ender Dragon. And just do whatever and survive. Okay, so basically, this is a temperate deciduous. You expect medium rainfall and comfortable temperatures ranging from 0 to around 25 C. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It looks temperate, deciduous. It's definitely got a lot of primary productivity with the amount of vegetation I'm seeing here. Although I'm a little disappointed at the biodiversity level. I'm not seeing a high species richness, to be honest. I see a lot of just grass, straight grass, and then I really only see 2 species of trees. We got like a birch and a, what is that, a pine or something? Maple? And that's it. Oh, maybe a little tall shrubbery here as well. But yeah, the biodiversity, low. Although we have maybe some aquatic vegetation here. Yeah, not very. I see some fish. Water quality seems to be decent. Here's some more. Okay, we have a few more species. We have some flowering, maybe annual plants on the sides here. What are those? Wolves? So that's like we got an apex predator here. We got a keystone species on our hand. You gotta stay away from that because I don't feel like I'm at that top level yet. I feel like I'm not at the apex yet. What was that down there? Oh yeah, you mine for ore. I forgot about that. Thus the name Minecraft, right? Well, that doesn't sound good. There are monsters here, right? Yeah, I guess it would be an interesting. I guess you could play Minecraft. They'd have to be. I wonder if they could do. I was just thinking of. Alex, you get wood. What's up, Haxwell? Chat, nice to see you. So Alex, you're saying get wood to make a crafting table. Oh yeah, that's right. You have to make a crafting table. And then you make swords and stuff. Use this thing to get diamonds. Right. Okay, so you have to build up you start, and if I remember correctly, when it gets dark, if you don't have a place to stay, you die. So let's get going here. Let's get some wood. By the way, how do you punch wood like this? Seems like a little flaw. I can punch wood into chunks like this. What kind of fists do I have? Some kind of fists of steel here. And Maz, I was just thinking that would be kind of cool if they could make a like. I know they do have different biomes, so it might be cool to like introduce biomes that way. What if I did that as like a lesson next year? Yeah, Maz, you're giving me inspiration right now. Interesting ideas. You should create a world which highlights the unit we're studying. So we're studying biomes. You could show every biome in Minecraft and say this is the temp percent for that biome. That would be good. But I have to. How do I create that world? I don't know how to do that. I'm not a. I don't know enough about the game. Can you create different worlds using different? But they already have biomes. I saw on the website that like something about biomes. I didn't investigate it very much, but I saw something on there. Okay, so I gotta build. Hey, there's some decent diversity though. There's a weird thing though. What is that thing? It's supposed to be a squid of some kind? Oh, that's a little odd looking. Alright, I'm gonna build a crafting table, but I should build a shelter because I remember when I played this once back in the day when it first kind of came out. I remember I kept dying because I couldn't escape. but it'd probably be more efficient to build a crafting table first. Okay, E. What is this saying? Oak. Oh, that's oak tree. So what if I do this? That gives me planks. All right. If you go creative later, you can fly around and look for different biomes easily. Okay, that's a good idea, Jason. I don't do that. So I gotta build a crafting table. I forget. So what if I do? What is that? It's using the oak wood? No, I don't want that. Oak planks. I need planks, right? So I should I should just turn these straight up into planks. Fill the 2x2 with planks. Okay. So I just need to get planks. Oh wow, I can get a ton of planks. Okay, that's faster. Just right click. Pressure plate. Boom, crafting table. Okay, so this is my inventory. What's the difference between this big inventory and this like single row down here? Why is it separated by a, why does it look like they're distinct? Oh, because it's not in my, oh, that's my quick access. That's my quick access. Okay, so I want, so I put a craft, so where am I gonna build my, like, I think I'm good right here, right? There's a little cave here that I can mine in. I think I'm just gonna chill here somewhere. Just set up just set up right here. Okay, so now crafting. What do I want to build? I need to build an axe, right? So let's see, how do I build an axe? Need a stick. So an axe, I think I need a stick, right? Oh, that's handy. I can just click on that. Okay, so I get a stick. Jungle boat. Right? If I click next on the magnifying glass, but that's not, there's nothing, there is no next. Oh, shoot. I feel like I'm straight up dead at this point. 2 sticks and 3 planks. Okay, okay. Oh, see, now it pops up. But see, here's the thing. I need to not die. That's like my main concern right now. But maybe I'll build a sword. That might help me survive the night. I'll build an axe as well. So let's do this. Why do I need these things? And then a pickaxe probably will be useful at some point. What's that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So a log. So if I want to build like a little, let's just like a little tiny house, right? Just to protect myself. Oh, there's a guy over there with a bow, getting attacked by a wolf. All right. Well, that's not my problem. So, oh shoot, this thing. Damn, dude. Oh, you destroyed my crafting table, you guy. The thing just exploded. So if I want to build a house, I have to turn my... I need... What? What the heck's going on? Does bats attack? Yeah, they do. To build another crafting bench. Build a crossbow. So a log isn't very good, right? I need a... plank. Can you build with a plank? Collect 8 stone with a pickaxe and you can make a furnace to make torches so you can see. Okay. Red Goomba, what's up? How you doing? Mr. Jones, how do I get access to all the units that we need to know on College Board? Oh, I forgot I was gonna do that. I'm gonna put some stuff. I'm gonna put 2 documents on Google Classroom for everybody. Is there a way to pause Minecraft? Because I'm gonna die as I do this. I want to put the practice test answers on Google Classroom, and then also the just the general that big PDF with all the topics. So period 2, unit 2, PP classroom practice test key attach. Where'd that file go? Did it go to my desktop? This one I want to download. So here I'm putting it on Google Classroom right now for you. So the first thing I'm going to put on is the Unit 2 AP Classroom. Unit 2 AP Classroom practice test key. post it on Google Classroom, and then I'm also going to post just generally the whole document. Whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. It's called this whole document that has like all of what you need to know. Oh, actually no, this is just oh shoot, this is just Unit 2. I'll just post this one then. I'll just do it by unit basis. Unit 2 guide. I'm just gonna call these the guide. AP guide. AP topic guide. That's fine. That's good enough. What's up, Magic Jaguar? How are you? Post. This is under Unit 2. I think we're allowed to post this. I actually should just check, because this is like the behind the scenes. It's the behind the scenes stuff, guys. I don't know if I'm allowed to post this. I might get in trouble. I might go to jail. the College Board police are gonna come and arrest me. They'll be like, you can't post that stuff. It's behind the scenes. They can't know how many class periods you're supposed to teach that unit. They can't see the sample instructional activities that they're supposed to do. I don't see why not. There's nothing on here that's like bad or anything like that. I might get in trouble for this actually. Quantitative skills. Example exams, samples, and commentary. What's up, Jasmine? I might get busted. I might get busted all up on this one. It's like, what do these links go to? Like, let's say I click on the exam. What does this take me to? 2014 free response question. Wow, how well did students perform on this question? 4.3 out of 10 was the average. This gives you this is a little bit behind the scenes, man. Actually, I probably shouldn't post that one. I'm gonna have to confer. You should have the topics anyway, though. I'll have to confer on that one, to be honest. But the other one, the key is fine, because that one the key should just deserve to be on there anyway. But you should be able to see it anyway. Here on Google, on AP Classroom. I thought you have access to it on your end, to the topics. But I'll look into it later. I'll look into it later and post and see what I can and can't do with that in regards to that. But if anything comes down to it, what I'll do is I'll just like maybe like what you were saying, Akash, just like screenshot the document, the parts of the document, so that they don't have links to things, because that document has links, embedded links to other documents, and I'm not sure if any of those documents are not good for students to have access to. I don't know, because College Board is weird with some of the stuff that they do and do not allow. So anyway, what's up, Ryan? What is up, Jonavi? It's been a while, yeah. And Adarsh, long time no see, man. Nice to see you. All right, so we're gonna have to go. What's a good task to start with? Should I get more wood? Should I be getting choppy with it right now? Or maybe I'll mine a little bit too. I heard a zombie somewhere. Stone? Ryan, what are you looking for? What source? What are you trying to get? Genevieve, I am teaching. I'm teaching AP Environmental Science and Bio. All right, I'm gonna go get some wood here. Oh, this guy's. Don't they just do them? The zombies explode, right? Why is he on fire? Oh, he didn't die? Has made the advancement Monster Hunter. I'm gonna kill this thing. Oh my god, it's terrible at this. Stop flying around. Can they attack me? Am I just wasting my time right now trying to kill this bat? They can't attack me. So Ryan, that document, you didn't get a pick. Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't give you a pick right now. I mean, anyone can. You can just go back in the video to find it. Well, I scrolled through the document in the video, so you can always go back and look at that for sure. There's a point in time. I don't know if anyone has the timestamp for when I actually did that, but it wasn't. It was early in the video, and then I did it again within the last like 10 minutes, last 15 minutes. No, maybe more than that. I'm getting copper. Oh my god, dude, these bats are so annoying. Oh no, what's happening? Gosh, I need more health. How do I recover health in this game? Get away, get away, get away. Do I have to eat stuff? What? Why did I just throw my freaking sword? Oh my god. I threw my sword. Completely stupidly, and now where is it? Oh, there it is. How come sometimes they explode and sometimes they don't? How do I get how? So health. I need to know about health. Do I have to eat stuff? No, eating is the right bar, the right one. Iron ore can be broken with cobblestone pickaxe. What's up, Ankita? Yeah, tell Vijit to drop by. It's been a while since I've seen him. On the stream or in when I'm at work, when I'm at school. Either way, it's fair. Okay, so I gotta eat the rotten flesh. That seems unlikely. That didn't really help it at all, Adarsh. Did it help at all? It didn't do much. It didn't even affect my health, it just made me sick. Oh, is this a slow increase? It slowly works? game does have a certain kind of nice aesthetic to it. It's a good ecosystem service right here. There's an aesthetic ecosystem service that I'm benefiting from with some of the views here. Dude, that took half a health from there. Alright, whatever. Oh, those ones explode. That's what I want to stay away from. There's two different monsters. I didn't see the difference. So I can't get. I can't see anything, huh? I should have taken Ricky's advice. How is things infinitely coming out of this cave? It's a dead end. What? I don't understand. What, are things coming out of that hole right there? Are things coming out of there? It seems like a dead end. Like, it seems like there should be nothing that's being... Oh, stone. I should just make stuff out of stone. Oh, I'm using an axe. I'm so dumb. I was like, why isn't it working? Because I'm just hitting it with an axe. Maybe, okay, so I'll make a stone. I'll make some stone stuff. Like stone tools. Can I make a stone sword? Oh, what's up, Kron? It's been a while. So the monsters just spawn in dark places. Okay, so that's why. Gosh, that's a 4-meter drop. Oh yeah, each block is a meter. Is 3 feet. So my character's what, like 6 feet tall? It's decent. I'll take it. I'll take 6 foot. It's taller than I am. More bats. These bats are just super annoying. But a 4-meter drop's only 12 feet. I can jump 12 feet down and be alright, I think. It's kind of far. But I don't think I would lose half a heart in real life. Okay, so I got stone. Craft a torch. Alright, Ricky, so nice. Got myself a torch. And I should make myself a stone pickaxe. That's useful. I don't know if I need a shovel right now, but a stone sword would be nice. But I can't do it because what am I missing? I'm missing a stick. I need more sticks. Stone sword. Stone axe is nice. I just need a bunch to build a furnace. Cobblestone wall. I just need more cobblestone to build a little house, right? Probably makes sense to do a cobblestone. Do these torches run out, like if I plant them? I can't really see this thing. Maybe I should have taken... Oh, jeez. Maybe I should have taken the advice and done creative mode instead of survival mode. I would be less distracted by these monsters all the time. I can just build stuff. Oh, Jesus. Okay, this is... What the... Yeah, so that's... Maybe it's best if I do... Okay, I got the hang of it. I think what I'll do... I think I'm going to sort of call it a night tonight because it's 9:45. Chat, Mr. Jones, stop trying to kill the bat, a valuable pollinator. I know, I'm destroying an ecosystem, a keystone species. Gonna put the whole ecosystem into whack here. This is actually a good game to play in regards to apes. It's very contextual. I feel like there's a lot of like connections you can make. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a regular game that is creative because I think I'll have more fun. You know? So I'll just create it right now. Ankita, why don't you have that's fine, 6 period bios. Well, here's the problem. He can't come and visit me during class because I won't be able to I'll be teaching. So if he wants to visit, he should come during like a lunch period or a tutorial. Not even a tutorial, like lunch is best. Oh, it looks like a little bit more of a... I'm looking like more of a chaparral, sort of shrubland style biome now. Slightly different trees here. Alright, Johnny. Goodbye. See ya. See ya. Sis and bro forever. Wow, I'm new. Yeah, so that's cool. And it's got a little coastal area over here. Oh my god. That's so much nicer. I can just fly around. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is how you really get around. Yeah, I like this mode better. I'm a fan of this mode. Yeah, this is definitely a desert. This is a desert? Because there's cactus. But then there's like water, like an abundance of water here, which is interesting. Press E. Oh, do you have like an infinite? So, okay. So I get. This is basically this is the real sandbox mode. So you've got an infinite. You can just get as much as you want of anything. I got it. That's nice. This will be fun. This will be a good game to play over the course of the year. So maybe as I stream, I'll play this a little bit here and there. This will be more fun, just to have it be more chill. I don't want to have to sit here and try and swing a stick at bats all night. I'd much rather just have like a more relaxed kind of situation where I can just be creative. This is better mode. Nice, some horses. How do you go down? So it's not a complete free-floating thing. So space is up. Oh, shift is down. There we go. I just wanted to look at these horses. It kind of reminds me of the horse from Gumby. You guys ever watch the show Gumby? Whatever the horse's name was in Gumby. That was a freaky show, but I actually really liked that show. That show, when I think about that show, because I watched it when I was a kid, you know, there are some shows when you're a kid that you watch and then you think back to them and it's just, there's like a creepiness to them a little bit, but it's not creepy. It's just, I don't know. It's like a mix of nostalgia, but also thrown in with just a touch of, that's kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it, but Gumby gives me that whatever that feeling is. Should build a replica of Monte Vista. Oh, what's up, Autumn? Nice to see you. All right, Ankita, sounds good. Yeah, you're FaceTiming Yannicka and Arushi right now. Yeah, that's kind of, they're in college. They're doing their thing out there. All right, cool. So this looks like a good place to stop for today. Oh, is this a little wetland over here? Oh yeah. This looks like this doesn't look like a coastal wetland though. This is more of an inland, maybe a marsh, freshwater marsh of some kind. This looks like a nice place. I think I'm gonna prop up right here for next time. All right, looks good for me. Save and quit to the title. All right, everybody. I will be back. I think I'm going to do another office hour stream next Thursday as well because I have a bio test then. But obviously if you're in Apes, feel free to stop in. I think the way I'll do these streams is sort of do the first hour as question Q&A / going over concepts a little bit, and then the last like hour, if I feel like it, playing a little bit of Minecraft. I guess that's what will happen. That'll be good. But anyway, it's time for me to get some sleep. Everyone else, you guys should get some sleep too at some point. Don't stay up too late. Let's see how we doing over here. We all good? We all good? What's up, Dylan? Dylan. Do I know you? No, I don't know you. I don't know you. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, everybody. Peace. Be with you. Good. If you have questions that I didn't answer, it's too bad. Apologize for that, but it's time. You had plenty of time. You had almost 2 hours of time to get it in. So that's on you at this point. But I have some sleep to catch. So everybody, enjoy your night. Thanks for stopping in. See you later. I'm out.